Hey guys, it's Steven. I share a lot of simple setups in my videos, trades that have a clear entry, a clear reason for the entry, a clear exit, and a relatively clear profit target. That's one of the harder things to do. But there are a lot of simple pieces of knowledge you should be aware of in your daily trading. I'm just going to touch on a few of those. It's a holiday weekend. I'm not going to make a long video. But the first thing you should be aware of as we go into September, today's the last day of August, is this chart. Look at September right here. On average, it's the worst month for the market. This is the S&P, but the Qs is going to look similar to this. September is a tricky month from the long side, historically. So that's something that I want to be aware of coming into the month. So maybe I'm looking for more short setups than long setups, or at a minimum, I'm not looking for as big of a return from my long setups. Obviously, this depends on the stock and the day and what time frame it is and things like that. But I'm looking less for a trade that's going to explode higher if it's tied to the Qs or the S&P in September than I would be looking for it, say, in July or in December. Months that have really good returns historically for the market. Next, I'm going to be looking at what the market overall on a daily basis, and this is the way that I look at every chart. When someone says, what do you think of Palantir? What do you think of Pure Storage? I'm looking at the daily chart first, and this is the Qs. I'm looking at the daily chart to see what the trend is. And what I see on this chart now is that we have been in an uptrend, and now over the past month, we've started to go sideways. Again, that feeds into my overall thought process when I'm going into trades, and the Qs or the SPY especially now. I'm going to shift because of what I see from a much more bullish stance, as in I'm more apt to take bullish trades and take fewer short trades. Now, for me, it's 50-50, right? I'm happy to take either trade and look more at bouncing around in the range as opposed to being predominantly bullish in the types of trades that I'm looking for. So I have two pieces of data there. First, that the month of September isn't the best month for longs, right? It's literally the worst month of the year to trade long on average. And this strong uptrend has now turned sideways. And here's what I'm seeing, right? We've gone from having higher highs, higher high, pull back, higher high, to a lower high. We haven't put in a lower low yet in this sequence. We basically pulled back to support at this level. Here, when we pulled back, right where it's support, basically the same level here. And now we put in another higher low here, but we've definitely put in a lower high at this point. So like I said, I'm looking more at a sideways market now than just a straight out bullish market. So with these two items, I've got one negative, which is historical returns in September. I've got a neutral, which is the market is moving sideways. But I also have another piece of information that's a positive, and that is the likelihood of Fed cuts in September. So that should be supportive of the market, which again leads into my thesis that the market is going to basically keep moving sideways, at least in the short term, which should lead to, again, good setups in either direction. If you guys weren't aware, you can go to the CME. You can see the URL here in my browser, CME Group. .com, markets, interest rates, and you can actually see what the projections are for Fed cuts. And it's free. You don't have to pay anything to get this. This is the September projection. So right now the current target is here in the middle of the page, 425 to 450. And you can see that the projection for a cut to 400 to 425, so a quarter point cut is 86.4%. So that's what the market believes the chance is of a cut in September. And I believe it's pretty much 100%. As I've told my Trade Your Edge group, Powell is a type of Fed chairman that likes to telegraph what he's going to do and then do it. He's not a surprise Fed chairman like we've had in the past with Greenspan. Greenspan would try to surprise the market sometimes and cut or raise rates between meetings. Powell is a type of Fed chairman that likes to say what he's going to do and then do it. And he's recently said that we're headed toward interest rate cuts. Again, my read of what the chairman has said, and the market believes that as well. So we go back to the market. We've got a negative with monthly returns in September. We've got a neutral with the market now moving sideways as opposed to being in this very bullish move. And we have a positive with Fed cuts coming, and lower interest rates are obviously supportive of the market moving higher. So with all of these, when I'm looking at my simple setups in intraday, that's the big picture mindset that I have. Not overly bullish, which it paid to be during this time, but also not overly bearish, which again should lead to good setups on both sides, right? Long and short. So that's a relatively simple approach to the big picture that I add on top of the simple setups when I'm doing them. I'll link to one of the videos that describes one of the setups that I trade that's gotten over 50,000 views now on YouTube. I'll link to that right here. If this video was helpful to you, please hit subscribe. And I'll keep making more videos like this, letting you guys know how I see the market at least. Thanks for watching.